Okay, you know the feeling, right? That perfect moment in a song when a shiver just runs up your spine and goosebumps pop up on your skin. It's one of the most powerful and honestly kind of mysterious experiences we can have with music. But what is it, really? And why does it happen? Let's pull back the curtain and figure this thing out. I mean, we're talking about that physical reaction, that almost electric jolt that feels like it connects the sound directly to your nervous system. It's something people feel all over the world, but it's also super personal. And for a long, long time, scientists have been trying to pin it down. So this isn't just you thinking, oh, that was a nice song. No, this is a real physiological event. The neuroscientist Jacques Panksepp described it perfectly way back in '95, calling it a spreading goose flesh, hair on end feeling that often moves down the spine. This description is basically our way into the science of it all. Right, so before we can even get into what causes it, we've got to agree on what to call it. And you know what? That turns out to be surprisingly complicated. Yep, you read that last one right. Researchers have thrown all of these terms around, and it's not just about picking a word. Each one actually highlights a different part of the experience. And that's where things get really interesting. Most of us just call them chills. It's easy, it's direct. But for a scientist, it's a little slippery. Like, does it have to include goosebumps? Does it have to be on your spine? There's no single strict definition, which makes it a tough term to use in research. Then you've got thrills. Now this adds a really crucial layer. It's not just a physical thing. It's tied to a peak emotional moment. This term reminds us that we're not just reacting to a sound wave. We are feeling something and feeling it deeply. And that brings us to frisson. This is the word you'll see pop up in a ton of the latest research. And why is that? Well, it's kind of a blank slate. It doesn't make you think of being cold like chills might, and it doesn't have that roller coaster vibe of thrills. It's precise, it's clean, and let's be honest, it's a little bit fancy. So what's the bottom line here? Chills is really about the what, that physical tingling. Thrills is about the what and the why, the tingling plus that intense emotion that's causing it. It's a subtle difference, but a really important one. And yes, we have to go back to skin orgasm. I'm not making this up. Researchers like Panksepp were seriously considering it because it's actually really accurate. It points directly to the brain's pleasure and reward pathways, the same ones that light up for things like food and sex. But for pretty obvious reasons, it didn't exactly catch on in the academic journals. And this isn't just some quirky little phenomenon that a few scientists are looking at. The interest in this topic is absolutely exploding. We are in a golden age of trying to understand this fundamental part of how we connect with art. Okay, so we've got a name for it, or a few names anyway. But what is it in the music itself that's physically pulling this trigger? Think about it like this. You're watching a movie, you're pretty sure you know what's going to happen next. And then, plot twist. That feeling, that jolt of surprise and delight is what expectancy violation is all about. Our brains are prediction machines, constantly trying to guess what's coming next in a song. Chills happen when the music plays with those predictions in a beautiful way. A researcher named John Sloboda actually pinpointed some of these classic triggers. Things like a sudden jump from quiet to loud, or a chord you weren't expecting that suddenly just resolves perfectly, or even a single note in the melody that clashes for just a second before it falls right into place. It's the musical version of a surprise party, a wonderful violation of what you thought was about to happen. So the music creates this surprise, but what is going on inside your head when that surprise hits? Let's get into the neurology. The easiest way to think about this is like a short play unfolding right inside your brain. It's a story all about tension and release, and the whole thing takes place in the parts of your brain that are hardwired for pleasure and reward. So Act 1, anticipation. You hear that build-up, that crescendo, or you know the big chorus is coming, and a part of your brain called the caudate nucleus starts buzzing. It's building the tension. Then Act 2, the release. The moment arrives, that chord hits, the singer's voice just soars, and bam, the nucleus accumbens, which is basically your brain's pleasure center, gets a huge flood of dopamine. So what does all this mean? It means that physical shiver, that tingling feeling you get, is the direct result of a neurochemical reward. Your brain is literally giving you a hit of pleasure because you correctly anticipated and then experienced that amazing musical moment. And this is exactly why we seek these moments out. Some really groundbreaking research by Blood and Zatori showed that this dopamine response is a lot like our brain's reaction to other really fundamental pleasures. It explains why you listen to the same song over and over and over again. You're chasing that chill.
All right, so we've covered the music, we've covered the brain, but there's one more massive piece of the puzzle to look at: you. I mean, you've probably noticed this, right? You'll get these intense shivers from a song, and your friend sitting right next to you feels nothing. Or the other way around. So what's the deal? Is it just taste? Is it your mood? Or is it something deeper? Okay, check this out. A massive study of over 14,000 twins in the Netherlands came up with this staggering number: 36%. That's how much of the difference between people who get chills and people who don't can be explained by their genes. It's not just what you grew up listening to. A big chunk of it is literally in your DNA. Your personality is also a huge factor. Specifically, this one trait they call openness to experience. If you're someone who's just naturally curious, imaginative, and you really appreciate art and beauty, well, studies show you're way more likely to report feeling chills from music. So, what's the final verdict from the genetics? Well, your tendency to get chills is definitely partly hereditary. The research also shows that females tend to report feeling them more often than males. But what's super interesting is that it seems to be the same set of genes at work in both sexes, which leaves us wondering why there's a difference at all. And that leaves us with one last, totally fascinating question. If our genes are only about 36% of the story, what's going on in the other 2/3? That's where you come in. It's your memories, your culture, that one time you heard that song in the car with your best friends. That's the magic the science can't totally measure, but that every single one of us can feel.